Hey everybody, we have a special segment right here on Real Estate Matters with Stuart Tuttle. That's right, every now and then we have a celebrity on the show, and today we have a New York Times best-selling author. That's right, his name is Mark Greaney. He is the author and best-selling author of the Gray Man series. Court Gentry is the main character. Mr. Greaney also has worked with Tom Clancy in collaboration with books while he was alive, and then when he passed away, he also wrote several books for Mr. Clancy in his stead for his family and to continue the character, and also other books. And he is a resident of Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to find out a little bit about what a celebrity author looks for in real estate. But Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And I want to say you have the brand new book out, the Gray Man series, called The Chaos Agent. So as people listen, hey, realtors, all of us, we want to sit back in our homes, and as we take breaks from looking at real estate, we want to read a great book. The book is The Chaos Agent. It is out right now.
Yep, it just came out, or it's book 13 in my Gray Man series, and they're all standalones. You don't have to read them in order. It's a story about a former CIA officer named Court Gentry, who in this book, he finds himself pitted up against a mysterious enemy who is assassinating all the world's leaders in the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence. So he has to kind of unravel this big mystery going around the world to do so. And, it's a very high-octane espionage thriller with killer robots and spies, conspiracy,
Nice.
mystery, and assassins.
That's awesome. And, of course, that's so timely. I also know that you weave in artificial intelligence with this, so that's such a timely thing to have in a book to keep it, to even add to the interest to such a mysterious thing that, quite frankly, even I think those that are behind the artificial intelligence, I don't even think they know what they have, the tiger by the tail that they may have.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And in fact, many of the experts of artificial intelligence have come out and said they need regulation on their industry and all these other things, because it's everything's growing so much faster than people thought it was going to, even the experts. And I hasten to add that this is not a science fiction novel. Everything in here is either existing technology or emerging technology. So, I was fascinated with the subject, so I did a lot of research on it and learned a lot and wove it into a fun spy novel.
It's going to be great. So also, as far as in real estate, artificial intelligence is there, but give us an idea. I think as an author, we imagine that people that are authors, they're doing a lot of thinking, they're looking for inspiration. Give us an idea, wherever you live now, what were the things and considerations that you thought about as you purchased the home that you're in now?
Oh, well, that's a good question. And it's very specific to me, maybe, but I imagine a lot of people find themselves in the same boat. I enjoyed the house I lived in, but I got married and suddenly I had 3 stepkids, 2 more dogs than the 2 that I already had. So we did this scramble to try and find a place to live. And coincidentally, this was in 2020, early 2020, when the world just got shut down because of COVID.
Right.
So it was this thing where you're not leaving your house. You might as well find one that you can fit in. The kids were homeschooling and everything. And so we needed a bigger space. And we did we looked at everything in the area we wanted to live in. And the realtor said, well, I do know of another place that's about to go on sale, but it hasn't been listed yet. It's a little out of your price range that you've given me, but if you want to go look, and I think that's how they get you. And
Exactly.
I walked in there, and I hadn't even gone upstairs before I said to my fiance at the time, if the bank will give me enough money, I will buy this house. So it's not like me putting it down. But one thing I really liked was there's a detached pool house or in-laws
Nice.
house in the back. And I could see myself working there in peace. And there was a lot of, for having 4 dogs, the house was already set up really well for dogs. And so that was a huge thing. And there was just plenty of space. So, you walk through a house and you can see you living your life there. That's a good sign. So it was, those were the main things that we looked at.
There's no doubt about it. Interesting that in looking at real estate, sometimes sometimes we know right away. Like in your case, it sounds like you already, the wheels started, the envisioning process started, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Out of curiosity, the agent that helped you, did you know them before, or how did you choose your real estate agent?
Well, there was a lot of serendipity with this because the real estate agent was a friend of my fiance's. And so we kind of naturally went to her, and then she just knew the person that was going to be selling their house. I mean, he had hired her to do it, but they also had been friends before. So it was this situation where it's like, I can get the keys and have you guys just go look at this house while you're in the neighborhood. And I just kind of went along just to see what it looked like, and wasn't planning on spending that amount of money. But once I got in there, I was like, okay, if the bank will help me out, give me a lot of help, then I'll go for this.
I think that's a standard thing. Even myself, as I've looked at real estate and a second home and all these possibilities, the agent says, "Well, this one's just a little bit above what you want to spend, but I think you should send." That's the one we end up getting. It's just a
Yeah.
little bit more. But Mark, your books are so exciting, and people love them. I want to tell people the website is markgraineybooks.com, or you can Google the name Mark Greaney, and that's Greaney. Give us another idea as far as the Gray Man series. Now, you do so many other things with Mr. Clancy, and tell us about outside of the Gray Man, some of the other books you're writing.
Well, I have another series called the Josh Duffy series, and the first book in that series was called Armored, and it came out 2 years ago, and it has since sold to be developed as a TV series. So we'll see where that goes. But the second book in that series is called Sentinel, and it will come out in June. So last year, after I did all my research and writing of Chaos Agent, I started working on Sentinel, and I went to West Africa, which is the location where the book takes place, and spent some time in Ghana doing research, and came home, wrote it all through the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, into January, and just did my second draft of it. So I have a little ways to go on it, but yeah, I like to write the Gray Man book and then go do something else, and then come back and write the next year Gray Man book and go do something else. I feel like that kind of keeps my mind a little fresh.
Well, the other thing I don't think I mentioned is that in all your books, you are known and famous for going to the places that the characters are in, that the stories take place. So you must have a lot of cities under your under your belt to have seen and to have experienced.
Yeah, I think since I began writing my first book, which actually wasn't published, in 2005 was the first time I started doing location research. And since then, I've been to 35 countries, some of them multiple times. I think I've probably done like 4 books that part of it takes place in France, for example. But yeah, I've been to China and to Russia and to Estonia, Algeria, Ghana, as I said, Latin America, Northern Europe, Sweden. And it's really it really helps my writing, and it gives me a lot of insight about the culture, about the people, about the logistics and all those things. I think it really helps my writing.
We're talking with best-selling author Mark Greaney. That's right here on Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. Mark, we're so happy to have you here. We don't get to talk to authors and such successful people all the time in the world of writing books and stories. But The Gray Man also is a Netflix movie. I started watching it last night. I have about 30 minutes to go. Lots of action. You've got Ryan Gosling, one of my favorites, Billy Bob Thornton, Chris Evans. Tell us a little bit about when someone, I know people think, a lot of us think, hey, we want to be a writer, but after we get past that idea and even those that pursue it, what happens to a writer when you write these books, and then who reaches out to you from Hollywood to say, hey, we love your story, we want to make it a movie? How does that work?
I think it happens different ways at different times. In my scenario, I had just gotten my first book deal for The Gray Man, a very small paperback, not a big release. It wasn't like something that went to auction that everybody was talking about, but there was something in the story that a Hollywood agent had read and thought was interesting. So it actually sold, the rights sold to Hollywood before the book even came out, like about a month before the book came out. And I really thought that would be the end of it. I'd get a little bit of money and that would be the end of it. But it kept being developed in Hollywood. It would get close and it would fall apart. Brad Pitt was signed on at one point. There was a really good script written. And then in 2015, the rights came back to me, and the Russo brothers, who have done the Marvel films and a lot of other good films, they expressed interest, and they wanted to write the script and direct it. And so it took another 7 years from that option to when it actually ended up on the screen. But, even though it took me 15 years to get a book made into a movie, that's a lot faster than a lot of people that don't, that aren't as fortunate. So I'm really happy that it happened.
Very exciting. Once again, the new book is called The Chaos Agent. Mark Greaney is the author. He's our special guest. Mark, before we close the segment, of course, we'll tell them markgraineybooks.com. And by the way, I'm looking at the website now. I don't know who does the covers, but they're exciting, colorful, and all that. But before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know, Mark?
Oh, the website information is great. I hope people will check me out. And, again, the books are completely standalone. You don't have to read all 13 of them to know what's going on. You can pick up any one in the series, and it will orient you to the story. And Chaos Agent, I think, is a really fun, exciting romp with a lot of cool elements. And I hope people will give it either a read or a listen.
Well, at this time of year, if you have not discovered Mark Greaney or read any of the books, you have a whole bunch of books to get you through the rest of 2024. Mark, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.